If you have this mental illness, you need to look for help. You need to seek help. It lingers on in the lives of some people, and what are the actions that we need to take, when things like this happen?
My lecturer gave me he, and that is let my people go. I will have failed it means that I will have failed that subject. That kind of situation destabilizes a girl child. So we don't need to keep quiet. So there should be a kind of office, a facility with professionals.
In a climate where we don't believe that a child has a mind and a child has a voice, but we need to realize that from age 0 to age 3, the child has a mind already. So the mind may not be fully formed, but it has the ability to store information, so that as they grow, they remember childhood, they remember things that may have happened to them, either traumatic or not. And parents should stand guard, even because if you look at all these stories closely, most of the time in my experience, it's either something that's happened in the childhood. That's why in some of the forms that you feel when you need help, they will say, can you link this issue to your childhood? There is always something there, and both parties should be handled, even if they are influential. And then, like you said earlier, both parties need help. The abuse, their abuser, and then there's a party that we don't talk about, the people that may have experienced or see the trauma happen. So 3 things: the victim, the perpetrator, and somebody that probably witnessed it. Because sometimes you just feel, because the things you see happening sometimes, they don't leave your mind on time, and everybody needs help. And that's why our professional is teaching us now that people should get help. People should speak up. Don't keep it to yourself. Parents should believe their children, for God's sake. They're your children.
In addition to that, Papi Sam, I will say, in addition to what you said earlier, that the school should investigate and all that. Even at that, when some investigate, they still cover up. They sweep the truth under the carpet.
That's the challenge.
But we have especially when it happens in religious houses or happen to the children of the influencials. Yes. But do you know that there's law now? Let this group of people, these family members, let us be the voice of the voiceless. Let's keep educating the parents on what to do when such happens. They should not just say that you keep quiet, you are the cause, and you begin to stigmatize, add to that kind of adding verbal abuse to that sexual abuse the child has gone through. Some of these young ones that have committed suicide in the course of that, and some of them they have decided to become a professional prostitute due to that, because nobody is ready to listen to them. We have organizations in Lagos, we have one on Redemption City, but at the same time, who empower them, who finance it? There's this, even if they lie, forensic, we show up the truth. But who is going to finance it? I refer a case of abuse to an organization, and they had to report to police station. When they got to police station, for them to arrest the predator, they were asking for the thief fare. The man gave the thief fare. The person could not be apprehended, and then looking for him again, they had to ask for another one. Not that alone, they will have to do medical tests to confirm whether there's penetration or there's no penetration. From that, they go to court. So who will be responsible for these expenses? So as a body, as a family, we can seek help. We come together. Those of us that know the truth, let's come together to fight, to be the voice of the voiceless. And by the time they are being sent to jail, by the time the predators are being caught and there's justice done to them, some of them, they will learn from that. Apart from that, like we were saying, that is a mental health issue, mental illness. How would they get help? How would they get help? Like I said during the last episode, that referring people to neuropsychiatric is not cheap. Getting a psychotherapist, what is it called? Therapist. How do you charge when you have referrals like that? It's not cheap, and you cannot say that these professionals should not get being paid. They should. So even if the church have them as Christian psychologists, Christian therapists. That should be something that will be given to them because this is their own profession.
Yeah.
Even the pastors, they have something to appreciate them as an honorarium. So if it's a privilege having them in your churches, let them be paid. They may not be paid as much as they will be paid out there. But if you want to put an end to this, because they have the skills that other professionals like accountants, medical doctors, and all that have, let's give honor to their profession. Let them be paid. So if you have these services in our various churches, we have it in our organization, then before you know it, we'll be putting, it will be getting reduced and we'll put an end to it one day.
Awesome. There's one part of this discussion that I think I would like us to discuss as well, which is we have talked about schools, and so on, but I think in our societies we might have had one story or the other of a woman who already has daughters, then gets married to another man, who has young daughters, gets married to another man, and it happens sometimes that this man begins to sexually molest the children, the woman's children. They are now stepdaughters, but stepdaddy now raping,
taking a step further,
taking advantage of the stepdaughter.
And in such cases, if these children, I had a raw case reported in church in those days, and telling the mom said, keep quiet. Yes, that what do I do? Should I pack out from my husband's house? And the girl was just suffering.
So it means that sometimes the mother are enabling it to happen, which they shouldn't do.
There's one. That's why communication is important, in especially the mothers. Communication, mothers and children, is very important. Because
but did I communicated with
no, I'm just saying there's one now. There's one now. There's one I'm aware of.
Is the mother misplacing her priority?
Continue with the abuse.
Is the mother misplacing her priorities?
Sorry, I think
communication.
I know
that's
priority.
No. I think
what
I think what Sarah is talking about in regards to communication is something that has started from the grassroots.
Yes.
It's not something that just came out of the blues. Where there is a working relationship. And sincerely, it is so pivotal because this thing is lacking.
Yes.
You cannot just expect a child to come out of the blues, a child you did not have a relationship with, to come out of the blues to start telling you about deep things.
After you are being told, what do you do?
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm not even talking about
Miss,
even in relationship. Like what she said.
She doesn't want to lose her
like what she
husband.
said. Like what she said. Even in relationship, that they talk, the child tells the mom that your husband is doing this to me. And the mom wants to protect her relationship with the man above the child. It is wrong. That is what I call misplaced priority.
Yes.
Here we are talking about priority. I think it's a bit deeper than that because there is the economic angle to what we are saying here. So why does a woman, for example, who has a 7-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old daughter, or even 12 or 13, go back to remarry? Number one, the emotional need. The other one is the financial need. There are times I've seen a woman that at the age of 29, she lost her husband and she had 3 daughters. And the oldest daughter was 7, at that time. And I think like 7, 5, and 3 or 2 years old. Those. So eventually at some point, she was having financial difficulties. She was having emotional, trauma and all of that. She wanted her life, after the mourning phase was over, the reality, set in, and she needed soft landing. So in that case, even what do you expect that woman to do? Because if you fight that man, you will not pay her bills.
I'm just saying that regardless of your need, you shouldn't encourage harm that will scar your children for life upon them. There are options to it. You can take your children to live with probably your parents, people you can trust them with, and stay with your husband.
Since you cannot do without him.
So that harm will not get to do, because what you are talking about is something that will scar the mind of this child for
enabling
life.
that you are
I have
seeing
a
an
case.
enabler and,
Yes.
and you are one of the perpetrators.
I-
For you to know that this man is doing this and you are keeping
I
quiet,
have a case
you
where
are
a
supporting
child
that.
rebelled for
Yes,
something
you
like
pray
this.
this on
A
yourself.
child rebelled. Okay, so because you now that you don't, you are not believing me, you are picking your husband over me. I will go out. I'll be a full-time
yes,
prostitute.
yes.
But do you know
And
that if they take those children away,
it gave
the
a
man will
problem.
still find himself doing it with other people outside?
So it is better
Man
that
is
first
sick.
you protect your children.
I'm serious.
My own,
Because-
what I'm saying is
But-
child protection,
but-
which
but-
is
I know.
important.
Because for the man to do that to those children in the house,
And the guy,
it means he can kill it anyway.
Now,
So you
and they will
protect your
see
children away.
if the woman is straight
It's-
thinking,
it's the same
get
thing.
your children out of that place and make sure that that man gets help. Insist on it.
So there are two things that we have itemized now, identified. One is, according to Papi Sam's passion, is to protect the child. First thing first, don't shut that child out. You know, don't say, no, keep your mouth shut. You know, that's the same way children will tell their mothers that pastor is doing this. They say, stop that, keep quiet. He's a man of God. He cannot do such a thing. Maybe you are the one dressing in a way and you are seducing the man of God and all of that. You know, the first thing is to listen to your child.
Then
The
in
second
addition
thing
to- okay.
is to protect your child.
Okay.
You know, take any step. Our guest suggested that it's possible you can take that child out to live with a foster parent, an uncle,
Where you
or
know
your
they'll
own
be safe.
parent, where they will be safe. You know, and the other part is that man himself needs help.
Yes, insist that you should
Is
get
every
help.
time that,
He needs
excuse
to
me,
be
the help,
arrested.
He
help,
needs to
help.
be
I want
arrested.
to step on
He
that
needs to
help.
be arrested.
I don't want
Mommy,
to forget
sorry.
this.
We are stepping on help. We have been talking about help. All the
He needs to be
perpetrators need
arrested.
help.
He needs to be
Is it
arrested.
only help they need?
Arrested.
All of them does not need help. It's not. I disagree. It's
what
not
should we do?
every
No,
one
no,
of them
he should,
that
he should
needs
get his help
in the police station.
Okay.
Okay,
sister,
better.
No, sister, I will say
Please.
something in response to that. My people will say that Ori Bibe, Koni Ogun, Ori
Ori
Bifo.
Fifo.
It means that because somebody has done wrong, you shoot them down and you kill them.
And he said
And not that and not that the prisons and the correction center are not places where these people get
Help.
help. They come back hardened. They'll go there, they'll come back worse. So what we are trying to do now is that they get better. They'll get help.
Papi
They'll
Sam,
still serve
don't
punishment.
forget that
Yeah.
men don't also, you know, they don't accept help easily. Men
Exactly.
don't.
That's
So
what I
why
wanted
you
to
don't
say.
fight it?
Most
That is why
men, most
you put
men
it-
don't
Yeah,
don't
that
That
want
is why
to
you
get.
use both sides
Yeah.
of the sword.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Use
Now
both
you're
sides.
talking.
Let's
Use
go to
both
let's go
sides.
to our guest. Yes, our guest is going
Okay, I don't
make
want
a
to
point.
forget this. In the course of appealing to parents, in the course of telling parents to have a good communication skills, speaking, listening, writing, and all that, I showed I showed her a picture of how I communicate with my children. We so understand ourselves. My daughter, 19 years, was asking for allowance, and I told her that, when will your allowance finish? Well, probably in the next 4 or 5 days. I said, okay, a day before, remind me. She reminded me when I was so busy. So I used a particular emoji. And she always said, Mommy, you and this your emoji, because I don't want to read and I'm not responding. So about 5 hours later, she sent me something like a child in the dark place, isolated herself, and frowny face. You know that I saw that gave me, it triggered the signal that, there's danger. So I quickly got the money, the one I had, sent to her. They said that she had this and that. But what I'm trying to say is that parents should work on their communication skills with their
Mommy,
children.
can I come in?
And then, please, you
Okay.
will come in. Then in this scenario, case study that we are looking at, apart from the parents, once the parents are not listening, because some parents are adamant, then we say that, what happened when it happened to me when I was young? Who did I tell to?
culture.
Where did I
in the
tell
Western
to? So
world.
when they are not
It's normal.
listening, please, I don't want to forget this. When the parents are not available, or the children, the orphans, do you know that some people have orphanage and they are abusing? Go on internet to see a lot of stories.
Actually,
like
no,
that.
there's a particular
So
orphanage
if
I know.
they are not the adults around, either the parents or the guardian, they are not listening. There should be a place where this child, the teenagers, the child can go to,
Yes.
open communication in the church. And I will implore our religious leaders, junior church teachers, get skilled on at least how to get information. And when you get this information, don't keep it to yourself. If you are not a professional, you are not a professional. If you are an accountant, you can't be a psychologist. You can't be someone who gives therapy, a therapist. So if you get this information, the Church of God is so blessed. Refer. Don't hesitate. Refer to the professionals. And when these professional services are ongoing, who funds? Who funds the whole? I've told you the stages. Who funds it? Is the church ready to fund? Or they have to protect the predator, and as they get to just go, let's pray for you. You need deliverance. That spirit, go out by fire.
I think that predators should be. It's just a personal opinion. I think predators should be arrested initially.
Yes.
If there is, especially when there's a proof, and it's evident that this really happened. I think the first step is being arrested.
Who arrested?
Proper. No, I don't know. That's where we need. That's where we need the government. We are in a society. We're in a society that is so broken.
Yeah.
Especially in this part of the world, it is really, really, really broken.
Do you know that sometimes when a lady goes to report a case of sexual harassment, they ask you some funny questions?
What were you wearing?
What were you wearing? Why did you go there?
Thank you. What were you doing there?
It's a patriarchy system.
Mindset
Now,
that protects the men.
The men. That protects the men.
That gender, the male gender.
My thought is this is a global communication, and I think it's good we learn from other parts of the world. See, I like this Western culture where a child can report the parent can get
Of course,
arrested.
it has its funny
and the child
sides
can be
too.
withdrawn from the family. I feel if we bring this to this our climb for at least 1 year.
But no, but
even in the places where they do it, it has its
of course,
downsides.
several downsides. Every year, of course, there will be downsides. I know, but I just feel that there should be a measure where the children can have the voice against a mother that will say, "Shut up, don't talk about it," and the mother will be dealt with as well, and the children may be taken care of. It boils down to the quality of government services that we receive and we have in this climb.
Papi Sam, I will add something to that now.
Please add,
the Bible says that when you want to preach the gospel, I've forgotten the quotation itself, but it said that from Samaria, am I right?
To
To Judea and to the uttermost part of the world. Let's start from our immediate community. Let's make ourselves available to children. I was just telling some people before we started now how little children communicate with me. And this is what the predators use. They are ready to communicate. They will give them biscuits. They will play with them. Oh, are you? They give them high five. They give them chuckle knuckle. So as many of us that we are hearing this, let's be the voice of the voiceless. Those little children, those teenagers, some of them they have been intimidated. The parents are beating confidence hell out of them, so they are nowhere to be found. My daughter attended a particular parish, and she said, "Mommy, I will never go to that parish again." What happened? She said the junior church teacher in her class asked her a question about the previous class, and she said, "I was not in church." That said, "Keep quiet, you were here." And other children were trying to tell her. She said, "Keep quiet, you were here." And she felt embarrassed, and she said she couldn't believe her. There's nothing you will tell her that will make her to go to that church. So let us get equipped. Let's listen to these children. Let's communicate with them in their language, not in adult language. So if they confide in us, then we should be able to take it up from them.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that insightful, thought-provoking discussion. There is one aspect we still have to talk about now, which is the aspect of sexual harassment at workplaces. In the workplace rather. Cynthia said they ask funny questions. When you go to report some of these cases, they ask funny questions. They say, what were you wearing? This and that. Exactly. So what are the things that makes a young woman or a woman vulnerable? That's the first thing. What are the things that make you vulnerable? And when you start seeing, those unwanted advancements and all that, what should you do? Are there things you can do? Now, if it happens, what is the next step? 3 in 1.
Okay. So there are some NGOs now available to attend to these things. Let's latch on them. There are NGOs that have come up to where if you go to report and they are asking those questions, there are NGOs that are ready, sponsored to take it up, that are available now. I can even give you one for free. Center for Women's Health. I work with them. They're available. Yeah,
Cecilia
and you know,
Rice.
one of their social workers that will take it up. They have the backing
That
of
is
the law.
Lagos State too.
You know, no, Ogun State, Osun State, we are spreading now.
For the
Okay,
part
that's
that
very good.
at the vulnerability part of it,
Yeah.
what makes you okay? Let me step in as a woman. Okay, as a woman, what makes you vulnerable to sexual harassment? Sometimes, not all the time, is the way you make yourself available. Some predators wait for you to be available. They can't come to you where they don't know you. They wait to see your weak points, how they come in. They operate as a green snake in a green grass. For example, if in a workplace, you got a job and you're working and there is a predator there, now this person will be waiting for you. Number one, are you so desperate? Is it something that you are so desperate about that you are making known? You are sharing, and you are not keeping to yourself, you are sharing definitely to everybody. Now this person knows that you have this particular problem. That's aside. Secondly, sometimes the way you dress is the way you are dressed. We downplay that particular thing because ladies don't want to hear that part. They want to dress the way they feel. You forget that the male is wired in a different way. The opposite sex is wired in a different way. That
Say it again
when they see some parts of your body, automatically they react to it.
Something you're
now
supposed to.
it has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit.
See, in addition to that, we sexuality educators, we teach public part and private part. So you are showing your private part in public, and you want men to close their eyes, or their mind is not working. Is it possible?
It's not possible. The funny part of it is that
but we live in a civilized society. People can dress as they
I know, but we will not forget that
Caution.
part that a man is wired in that way. You dress in a certain way. It's just like a mango being so ripe.
The man is wired
And
in that way.
sir,
Man should wire himself and have self-control.
Sir, I will get to that.
It's two-sided.
It's two-sided.
It's
I will
two-sided.
still go that way. See, it's just like having
Just as you put
a ripe mango, a tree over a fence, and a ripe mango is growing, like the branch is growing out this way, and it's ripe for the whole public. Anybody can.
I saw a video recently.
Pluck that mango.
The guy had a banana bought into his
They
cup
do
and he was
that
eating it right.
deliberately.
Man,
In a
okay,
seductive
let me
manner.
tell you. Do you know that
They
as a
just
lady, I used
and
to
you
tell
want them to
myself
have
that
self-control.
if I dress and expose my private part, is intentional. As a lady, for
Yes.
a woman, it is intentional.
Thank
We know
you.
the reason
Something
why we
you
dress
want.
in a certain way. So a woman will not tell me, oh, yeah, I just want. You know why you are dressing that way. You have a target. Maybe the person that harassed you was not the person you wanted. It was a different person that harassed you. That's why you are crying wolf.
up on this.
Yes, sir.
No, that's just the truth. But then the dressing part, a man should have self-control because even that mango out there is not yours.
I realize
It's
that
not yours to pluck.
when you
didn't plant that tree.
when you see a predator, like we said earlier,
It could be in female.
Yes.
foundational. There is already something wrong foundationally. So such a person, whether you are dressed decently or not,
He can
Already a mind to.
is already a predator. Then the second part is there are some people that it feels like it's like the dress sense of a lady is the one that's it's like it comes on them and they lose control of themselves and find themselves doing things they didn't plan, so on and so forth. Of course, but still women are meant to dress decently.
Yes.
Men are meant to compose themselves. Some men will see women and they want to cuddle in a sexually provocative way,
Even shaking.
yes, and of course, I remember
And
when we were growing up, there's something they do.
Yes,
like they do, and I tell you, I love you, and all that. Or a guy, I mean, recently a lady put a hand on my thigh, but of course, I knew it was not sexually provocative.
Okay.
But immediately I thought about it that if I had done same, even though I didn't have any intention, it would be termed wrongly.
Yes, sir.
It will be termed wrongly. But of course, that's the world that we are in.
I also want to mention this. Many times we say we are imitating, the Western world, the Western culture. What I have learned about us as a people is that we pick what is convenient for us.
Exactly.
Yes.
We choose. So the Westerners don't dress in a sexually provocative manner. They don't. If they don't dress in a sexually provocative manner, especially in a corporate environment. There are different,
corporate environments,
dresses for different
occasions,
climes and occasions.
Okay, agreed.
So there are seasons of the year. You know, where we are now, you know, this building is well ventilated. There is AC, there are windows and everything because we live in Africa. Over there, they have winter most of the time. You know, the summer is just for a few months and all that. So it's largely cold. In fact, when you have openings here and there in your building, your heat escapes. So you seal yourself up. So when it's hot, it's really hot. During this period, they are more likely to dress in a way that will make them more comfortable because the weather is really, really hot at this time. So you cannot, at times when you see they dare not dress like that during winter. You know, because it's going to you'll
frozen.
Exactly. So you cannot see someone dressed in a certain way and say, no, that is how civilized people dress. You know, you want to imitate it. No.
And no, even when we are talking about civilized people, in the school of finishing school, the typical model used is the royal family, Queen of England. You don't see her dressed just anyhow. So if your children are royal family members, they dress well. So anything against that is the otherwise. But I have something is just popping up in my mind. That do you know that female gender could be harassed in workplace due to the intelligence quotient?
Yes.
Am I right?
I agree with that.
Okay.
You're always going to ask for help.
That takes me to the
You are always going to ask for help. You are unable to perform. You are unable to do your job very well. Mm-hmm. You know, you're always running around.
Ahead.
Yes. You are asking that Oga should help you, Oga should cover up for you, Oga should forgive you. You're always making mistakes, you know, and all of that. You make yourself vulnerable.
You didn't know that. No, that's not what I'm saying, sir.
Okay.
You're
The level of intelligence a person has could be the attraction.
You are proactive. You deliver.
Some men
know
are
your
sapiosexual. They are attracted to women that are intelligent. You know, so it varies from men to men.
Yeah, when they are attracted, it doesn't mean you should
I have this
harass.
question.
But being harassed due to that.
But I would like to add two things. I feel that when women in the workplaces have a high self-esteem, and you notice that somebody is trying to harass you, you can actually address it. I think the fear most times is that if I do something, I may lose my job. I have things at stake. But if your self-esteem is in place, you can actually address that issue. Then the other part is don't put yourself in situations where those things will happen. For example, there was a case of a woman that went to an office party where they were drinking alcohol and stuff like that. You know that if there's any form of party, there'll be alcohols, there'll be drinking by likely upon drinks. Don't put yourself in those situations. So that things like that will not now end up because that story started from there back to how it was now and then back again. So I used to say that try to take yourself out of situations that may bring about things like that. Do your job. Hello, hi. Everyone is fine.
And
something like that come up.
When those seductive words they are coming, because it will come through verbal. Yes. When it's coming, address it and give gap. If you are more often in that office before you give gap, then let's tell the female.
I think women enjoy. It's like women thrive in what's the word? In flattery.
Compliment.
The average woman,
but you be able to know the difference.
You should be able to know.
Firm and all.
Between compliment and flattery.
Are we not women? Everybody knows, but create gap. Then lastly, I will say this. I want to say this, that let every woman learn about self-defense.
I think I'm greatly in support of that.
Now, okay.
I love my
physical.
No, physical.
Now, okay.
Pepper spray.
Then register cases like that. Register it with the law enforcement agent first, verbally. That this is coming This is coming and I want to defend myself. Then go and learn about self-defense.
Thank you, Mama. Do you know that self-defense cannot equally start verbally? As a teacher, there is this particular girl in my class that she doesn't look for trouble, but everybody in the class knows that if you step on her toe, you will collect, let me use the word, woto. So that kind of girl, there was a time a case of sexual harassment happened in my class. A boy touched a girl's boob. So when that matter started,
no, I'm not calling settings.
No, it's still,
call it what it is.
Breast.
When it comes to sexuality education, you call it what it is.
The girl's breast. And then when the matter was being discussed and reviewed, at a time, because it happened in the class, some children were not talking, he cannot try it with this girl. If it's this girl, he will not even dare. So I think perpetrators watch before they act. They watch you. They observe you.
They know how to prey on.
Yes.
Then
they know
the educators, whether within the classroom, including the sanitation officers, they should be aware of, they should have basic knowledge about sexuality education. Because in a case that happened, they should be able to give first aid, then report to the necessary quarters, because it happens. Some of these children have been abused from home. I know of a 3-year-old child that will always tell other children, let me see your private parts, because he has been and the parents are living in denial.
I was telling my wife.
So we know that this child cannot get help from home. So what we can do is to just help the child and ensure that this child does not even it does not spread this to innocent children around. Because if you expect that child to where the child will carry the what is it called to other places.
Whatever he has,
then
whatever
down
is
to the
carrying.
parents' part. I think parents should learn how to caution their children in privacy. Okay, for example, there was a time I prayed, I said, God, please forgive me. I spanked my child outside. She did something in the school, so I spanked her in the midst of her friends. That was wrong, very wrong. Do you know what later happened? So anytime she's playing with her friends and maybe she does something, they want to manipulate her so that she will dance to their tunes. If she's not dancing to their tunes, they will say, I will tell your mommy for you. Because they know that mommy is going to spank you.
And some of them will lie.
So they started coming to me.
Against her.
They started using it against her. And by the time that happened, I felt so bad. So anytime they come to report my girl, right in her front, I will tell them that I am not going to spank her. I will tell them I am not going to spank her. And I'll call my girl, did this happen? She will talk to me. So that way, I think because for a child to report a case of sexual abuse to you, that child goes through a lot thinking about reporting it before coming to you.
Either parent or her daughter and them
because
handlers.
I was abused 3 times. I never reported. One was reported by my younger sibling. Then I was a toddler, maybe 5. But then the remaining ones that happened later, I did not report. Why? Because my mom and I, we don't have that relationship of connection. You and me sitting there, connection. And I don't even know how she's going to take it. And she's this type that if she flog you, forget your brain somewhere. So I think down to the parents' part, they should learn how to communicate. See, discipline is not punishment. It's not pain. You can discipline your child just one-on-one and talk. My father was like that. My father never flogged me.
Discipline. The goal of restoration.
Thank you.
And correction. Not the one that will create pain.
Okay, one more question before we go.
Thank you. We have to call it
one more question before we go.
Okay, make it
now,
fast.
The work environment, like I said. What if a woman finds herself in that environment where her boss is harassing her and she doesn't want to lose her job? What can she do? What must she do? Because she knows
it's better.
Because it's happening in workplace.
Married women,
bosses are harassing their female staffs.
Because if they report to their husband,
even married women,
Jesus,
even married women are being harassed in their workplace and all that.
Man and the wife, it depends on the rapport.
Talk about yourself.
Yes, so it depends, because there was a time My wife was gisting about somebody that said she has one and I really, so what did you do? We gisted about it.
So what did you do
I
about
had the
it?
person's number.
Uh-huh.
I called the guy that if I do that to your wife, will you like it?
Oh.
And he stopped. Because me as a person, there's a part of me that I try to hide.
That's where
I
communication
can be a lion
See,
if I want to be.
That's
Hold
where
on.
communication
And in my wife's office, they know me. If you pass your boundary, even the boss, the day the
But it's
man,
not in every
the day the
situation.
man is there, my
That's because your wife open
I
up to
call
Do you
you.
know that? Please,
because we are
before
friends, we talk about it.
Please, before we wrap it up, something
There's nothing you
happened
cannot
to
tell
me
me.
in
There's
a
nothing-
Christian
Let's
setting.
listen to our
That's what I'm
special
saying.
guest, please.
Something happened
Yes.
to me in a Christian setting. This man who worked together somewhere long time ago. He will always want to touch me because of what that kind of greeting then in my secondary school. So you can't just touch me anyhow. So this man would touch me deliberately. And one day I was at the restaurant, and he said, if not that I'm married, I would have married you. You are so intelligent and all that. I don't need to report him to anybody. I kept quiet. The next time he touched me, I dusted it. The next time he touched me, and I told him that if he ever touched me like that again, I was slapping. So he did. I slapped his hand. I reported myself to our boss. And I said, this is what I've done. So when he did this again, I gave him word that will never
good
forget
one.
in his life. And I reported him again. And our boss faced him and warned him. Since then, at a point, I will greet him. He will not answer. That's none of my
That's
business.
none of your business.
Until we're parted.
That's okay.
So
Yes.
women should have adequate knowledge of how they can defend themselves.
Wow, thank you very much. I have
the
been.
outcome, whether good
We have
or bad, because
to
Yes,
call
now.
it a day.
losing the job.
We have to call it a day. I mean, my producer is telling me it's time to call
as
it a
we call
day.
it a day, I would like to just mention this. You see, every perpetrator out there, as you think you are having a moment of enjoyment. One of the things we have learned here is that it causes trauma to the victim. You have had a moment of enjoyment, and that enjoyment is not going to last forever.
And he's sick, he's sick.
Exactly. We have also learned that. I think I want to start from
You need help.
the victim. The victim is traumatized, and that victim might live for the rest of his or her life, with this trauma. And the victim might be stigmatized, and it leads to suicide in some cases. Why do you want to ruin a life due to a moment of enjoyment? Now we have also learned that this thing is a sickness. If you have this mental illness, you need to look for help. You need to seek help before it lands you in jail. And you need to, if you have done this to people, you need to try to help them and ask for their forgiveness. It's very, very important so that we can have a healthy society.
Thank you. The head of the family has spoken, and that brings us to the end of this amazing family podcast. And we would love to say a big thank you to our special guest, Pastor Mrs. Esther Ekweme. Thanks for all that you shared. Of course, we know that there's a lot more to share, but time will not permit us. Yes, and this topic is inexhaustive because there are several areas we've not been able to even touch. I mean, the male child, what did we do to you guys?
And do you know that female bosses can even harass men?
Yes, they do. It happens a lot. All right, so that brings us to the end of this program. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share, comment, and also click on our notification bell so that you can get notified anytime we have newer content. I would love to say this. Happy people.
Happy family.
Thank you very much. God bless you.